In this life, there are moments when we feel a shift in things. We leave a moment different from when we entered it. These moments make us who we are. Let's talk about them.
Hello, I'm April.
I'm Cary. Today we're going to talk about tattoos. One of us has tattoos, and several of them, and one of us has none. Can you guess which one of us has a lot and which one of us has none?
And you only can guess if you've not seen our social media because the answer will be immediate. I just realized.
Well, if not, this is a great opportunity for you to go to our Instagram, which is Finch underscore the letter N and another underscore Sparrow. And you can find us. That's our handle on Instagram. But the discussion came up between the two of us about tattoos. And one of us has zero and one of us has many. And we both talked about, well, what was the moment that changed you, that made you want to, make the decision to make a permanent mark on your body? And so we just decided to talk about what that looks like, but also how do you choose one? When you have infinite choices, how do you choose a tattoo? So then we thought, hey, let's talk about this together.
And
So
why
here
does
we are.
the other person not have tattoos?
Mm-hmm.
And what does that look like? Because many people have many different reasons for having or not having tattoos.
Yeah. So should we tell them? Who has one and who doesn't?
Well, you know what? They're looking, even if they look at their Instagram, do they even know who Cary is or April?
Yeah, I don't
It's
know.
two middle-aged white ladies. Okay, so I'm April and I have tattoos. So the one with tattoos you see on the Instagram is me.
Yep.
And Cary, we're just going to tell you right now, she doesn't even have a hidden tattoo. There's nothing to wonder if you're going to see one on her thigh or on her big toe. None.
No tramp
To
stamp.
date. No tramp stamp, no booby stamp. What do they call those ones? Do those have a special name?
Nope. I don't know. No
No.
behind the ear. None of those.
Oh, yes.
Completely like God made me.
Yep. So yeah, well, it's just interesting talking about tattoos because we both come from like blue collar places where dudes had tattoos, right? Or was there anyone in your community that you noticed that had tattoos growing up?
My dad had a bunch of friends that were into motorcycles. So, I mean, I saw tattoos on
Biker
them.
tattoos. Yeah.
Yeah, like big burly men. And really, I didn't know anybody else with a tattoo. Maybe some of their girlfriends or whatever, but, And then
Yeah.
when I was younger, the first person I saw like get a tattoo was my older sister. And she's got lots of tats.
And how older is she from you?
She's 9 years older than me.
Okay.
So she's had them since I was like, I want to say fresh out of high school, somewhere in that range. My early
Since you were a
20s,
freshman
maybe.
in high school?
Well, I was fresh out of high school. So either
Oh,
I
okay.
graduated or I want to say I was like early 20s, maybe. So in between 18 and 20, we'll say.
So 20s when she was getting them.
I was in my 20s when I watched her get them.
So how old would she have been?
So she would have been 30.
Okay.
Yeah. So that, other than that, then my younger sister got one a couple years later. My brother has them.
So are you
These
the
are-
last
that's
of the
weird.
Mohicans? Are you the
I
last
literally am.
person one?
My mom doesn't have any either, no. No. But my husband has them. Let's just say, quote unquote, owe people tattoos. Like there are several people that are like, I want to get a tattoo with you, which, was always like, oh, cool, we'll get one. And I just never,
You just never felt really drawn to it.
I was like, oh, cool. Because the idea sounds great. But when it comes to decision making with one, I think that's where I have a problem because I literally have a whole list. I don't remember how many, at least 10 tattoos that
That you've
I
seriously considered.
seriously
Like, you
considered for a
mulled
long
over.
time and just never committed to. I can't commit because I heard someone say a long time ago, if there's a tattoo you want, you put a picture of it or draw it out and you put it in your wallet and you keep it for a year. And if you come back a year later and this tattoo still resonates, then you get the tattoo, right? So I don't feel at any point did I even go so far as to put a picture of anything in my wallet.
You're like, there's nothing that I even want to see that long.
Yeah, and like I was like, it obviously was never important enough for me to commit to it, right? I just think it's funny looking at this list because each one is so funny compared to like where I was in life too, and it just makes me laugh. But
So that's kind of an interesting like way to look at the years of your life. Like what tattoo were you interested in then? You
yeah, it's
know?
like a yearbook, right? Or a sticker book. It's more like a sticker book, right? But like one you wear instead of
Yeah.
you just
So
hoarding to use some other time.
your reason for not having a tattoo isn't because you don't feel like it or you don't think they're cool or you don't want to go under the pain of it or that. It's just you're like if I get one, I'll probably get sick of it and then I'll be like regret.
That's my fear. Also, particular people that I said I would get a tattoo with. My husband and my brother-in-law. And my brother-in-law recently passed, but we had decided to get this tattoo together. And so it may actually happen one day. I don't know.
What's
But
that one?
it's gone. It's just the two of us. And my husband has other choices of tattoo to honor him. So I don't even know if it'll come down to that. But also my big sister, the one that started the tattoo phenomenon, her and I have picked, I know at least one that we had talked about getting together and we never did. And then we talked, oh my gosh, I'm thinking of like 3 more tattoos that I had said we were going to get that I never even wrote down.
With your sister?
Yeah.
Because I don't have any tattoo people in my close circle
Oh, wow.
besides some friends. I do have a family member that has a tattoo that my parents don't know about. And so I can't out them. And I have cousins with them, but as far as like in my circle, the only person I know with tattoos besides my girlfriends that I've done this with is my friend Maggie. I'm like, that's it.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you have a person, it's not yourself, that has a tattoo in honor of you?
In honor of me? No, that would creep me out.
I do.
Do you think would it be cool if your husband's like, yo? Because and what's funny is when I got
not
my
my husband.
tattoos.
It's not my husband.
No, but if your husband's like, I want to get a tattoo to honor you, Cary, would you be like, rock and roll?
He's talked about it, but I also said, I think it'd be a little creepy if even like whether we ever got divorced or if I ever died. You don't want that around.
Yes, you do. Especially if you're dead, Cary. That is the tattoo memorializes the dead person.
Oh, wait, but you don't know what the tattoo was that he was going to get.
Your face?
You know those pinup
Yes.
boudoir photos we did? Yeah, he wanted to get like a straight up pinup of me.
Yes. That'd be so cool.
It's very sweet, very nice. But I'm also
Yes.
like,
Even if you're dead one day, he's
have
got
my
this
sexy bod on
He's
his
like,
arm.
look at this is my sexy wife. She did, but she was here for a minute. And that's what she looked like.
She lives on my arm.
See, that's cool. That I wouldn't consider that memorializing you. So I guess when you said that, it felt like it was like a, I don't know, like some like she's dead thing, or like I'm building a shroud or something. But that's just like cool wife thing or cool lady. It's a cool lady on his arm. It also is you.
If John got one, I'd be like, okay, that's sweet, that's cool. But like that's me throwing caution to him. Like this is forever, like forever.
It's
ever.
not though, because you can undo them. People do all the
right,
time.
that's true. My cousin did a really awesome bouquet of flowers on her hip, and people who she felt really close to or inspired her or she, whatever, she reached out to them and she's like, hey, what's your favorite flower? And so I gave her 3 and let her choose, but she has a little flower of me. It's actually not little, on her body that is
that symbolizes you.
yeah. And I was like, that's so sweet.
So,
because it's like my
did you
cousin,
know-
right? Like my bud.
Candies on my arm because one for each kid.
Oh, right. That's cool.
So
I
it's-
forgot about that.
It's not memorializing them, but it is. And then if I happen,
It's like honoring them, right?
Lord help me, but I don't think I'll have other kids. But if another one, I can just add another flower.
Yeah, I think that's cool. I have all these rules for tattoos too, because honestly, that's another thing that's kept me from getting them. So do you want to hear my rules? There's only 3.
Yes.
First rule. I feel like it should be a drum roll.
First rule, tattoo club.
No neck, face, arms, or hand tattoos.
Is that rule 1 or is that all the rules?
That's number 1.
Okay. Got it.
and that's the thing, for someone like me who can dress like so ridiculous, I'm fine with that.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, the permanent part of it is like, no, there are strict rules around this. For some reason, I made this number 2, but I don't know why this is like a part of number 1. So literally, I have only two rules so far. That's it. So
Okay.
I had made a note here and mislabeled it as number 2, but it says underside of wrist is okay.
Asterisk. Underside
Yeah,
is
that's what it
okay.
should have been. Okay. And then my number 2 rule, like super rule in all caps. Ready?
No butt tattoos.
Tribal.
Okay. Sounds like you don't view tattoos necessarily as art pieces. Or do you? And you're like, I don't want an art piece on my face. Like you'd have an art piece somewhere else.
I think this is my best way to describe it, and I just realized this. Do you know how you and I quilt? And when you and I get a pattern and we get the fabric involved, it changes the pattern and makes it busier, right? And the thing you always tell me is, Cary, there has to be a place to rest the eye.
Yes.
I feel like sometimes when you have so many tattoos, not that you do, this has nothing to do with you, but like,
Well, you can think that anyway. I'm still keeping them.
I just think, okay, it clashes with potentially what I'm wearing.
Yeah.
And I think
definitely
that's
true.
where I have the hard rules for, because I don't want to go out of my way to put an outfit together just so that way it can look over busified by my artwork on my body.
Yep.
So I
Yeah,
think
like-
that's,
Okay. That makes
you know,
sense.
yeah. And so that's why I really don't have rules. I just have some guidelines, I guess, except for the no tribal. I'm not like walking away from that one. Like no tribal whatsoever.
Yeah.
All caps.
But those aren't even on your list. You didn't even read through your list.
It's a long list. Are you ready?
You said there was like 10. That's not long.
No, now there's 12. I just thought of 2 more.
Okay. Well, 2. Okay. I think we can handle listening for 12 seconds.
Let's at least start with the very first tattoo that I ever wanted. And I think.
And how old were you? Is this kindergarten?
I want to say. I think I was in high school.
Was it when your sister got one maybe and you're like, oh, that's a cool idea?
No, it was way before that. Yeah, it was
Okay.
way before that. So, like early high school. So the very first one, and it's not even on this list, so that's 13 I know of. I wanted a Winnie the Pooh tattoo. Remember when Winnie the Pooh was like the whole fizz?
Girl, I had Winnie the Pooh decals in my Chevy Beretta windows because I was hot
yeah.
shit.
'Cause Winnie
Like
the Pooh
a
was
like a
the
little
shiz, and-
kind of poor person sports car with Winnie the Pooh. And okay, so this is a side tangent. Sorry, you can go back to this, but I used that car to record an Alanis Morissette music video where she murders her boyfriend husband and like speeds off and lights the house on fire. And the getaway car had the Winnie the Pooh decals in it. That's not the car of a badass murderer.
I feel
But
like
there
this
it
is a whole
was.
episode. This is a whole episode. I need to know more about this whole situation because
So anyways, so yes, Winnie the Pooh was the thing. I was there.
it was a thing. Yeah, it was a whole thing. It was a whole thing, and I don't know why, but it was. So that's the first one. Okay.
Okay.
The second one.
Like of Winnie the Pooh himself, not Eeyore or Piglet. Like
No, just Winnie the Pooh doing
The
that
man.
little like
The bear.
cute little pose he does with his hands in front, where he's like, "Oh, I'm so jolly."
oh yes.
Yeah. Okay, so that was my first one. The second one is I have loved frogs my entire life. Like frogs are my animal. And so I had this sticker from wherever, and it was this little red frog, and it was some sort of like poison dart frog.
Yep.
Didn't even look
It can
realistic.
kill
It was
you,
some cartoon.
but-
And I know for a fact I was like, I want this on my ankle on the outside.
Oh.
Yeah. Let's go back to my rules. No neck, face, arms, or hands, right? But number 2, again, being no tribal. The third tattoo that I was going to get was with my sister Dana. And it was some sticker we got.
Is this older sister or younger sister?
Older sister Dana. And I know for a fact I got this sticker at Spencer's or Hot Topic or wherever. And it's a blue butterfly.
Uh-huh.
But
yeah.
it's got tribal around it.
But you could do the butterfly without it.
But no, it was a full send. We were like, no, this is it. And we both had the sticker then, and we're like, no, we're going to do this. Never happened. So that was one of them. And so I have it noted here that the frog tattoo is about 18 years old. And then the tribal one with the butterfly was 19. Okay. So next year, 20. This is my next one.
None of these are making it through that wallet test. Okay, go ahead.
None of them, because they didn't even get printed. The next one is the time that I got to see Wicked. So maybe the time frame's off a little bit. So this is the time which we'll talk about in another episode. But I won tickets to see Wicked, and it was a whole thing. And so I got this really cool shirt from the Wicked performance where Elphaba and Galinda are line drawn, but it's this really cool art style, like the poster style. So I had this really cool idea. I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do Good Witch on one shoulder, Bad Witch on the other. And I'm going to have their parts of this little, the shirt of their face in these hearts. I mean, it's awesome. That's a great idea.
Yes. Was shoulders part of your no tattoo rule? I mean, it's
not
an
on
extension of arms, so you could
Yeah, because
technically do it.
The biggest part about all this is I think about my kids get married one day. And we had talked about this where you're like, well, you can get makeup. And that totally is logical. It's absolutely logical. But when this was a whole thing, like as I was growing up, nobody there was no tattoo makeup. There was nothing to cover up tattoos. There's none of that. So that the thought never even crossed my mind, even though, again, it's very logical until you brought it to me.
And your children might get married in the middle of winter like you did, and then it's moot.
Yeah.
Because you're wearing long sleeves.
I could have sleeves and I mean, there's 100 different reasons why this could be like, it's one day, right? Whatever. That was the Good Witch, Bad Witch situation. The next one was my sister, Dana, is a great artist. She draws so well. One day she was messing around and she drew this really awesome line drawing of the Cowardly Lion. Because, I'm huge into Wizard of Oz, or I was when I was younger. And she made this really cute drawing and she's like, here, I just made this drawing for you. And I was like, I'm making that a tattoo.
Yeah.
And I mean, I have it somewhere, but the truth is I'm never going to get it.
You make it into a sticker, okay? You should make that into a sticker. Just sidebar.
We'll do that. But then this one, I remember I had a place for this one. This one was going to go between the Elphaba and the Galinda on my shoulders and go on my back. Like,
Yep.
you know what I'm saying? So that's where that one was going to go because it was the size of maybe 5 inches diameter. We fast forward to about 28 years old, and this was a tattoo that I was going to get with John and his brother. And it was literally a mustache on my foot.
Why?
And there's a whole joke that we have that's really stupid that nobody's going to get, but for another time. But the tattoo was of a mustache on the feet. Now, what's one of the most painful places to get a tattoo?
Your foot or your elbow.
Yeah, your foot. And many times your foot, because it sheds so many layers of skin, if you ever get a tattoo on your heel, it will not be there in a few years because your feet just, So
regenerate.
depending on where you put it on your foot, it makes a difference of if it's going to turn out or be there in a couple of years or whatever. So that was another one.
It's kind of a little moving because he died very suddenly, very recently.
Yeah.
So now you can't go with him to get that tattoo.
Yeah, and so we talked about getting one because he passed away right before his birthday, and we talked about going to get tattoos, but it was just too soon. And not only that, now my husband has a different choice of what he wants to get. Not that he won't get the tattoo of the mustache as well, but for now, I think the other
You
one's
could go
more-
together though, which is what I've done with girlfriends, and get tattoos together, but they're not the same. But you still have that memory of having that experience, and you both walk away with a different result.
Yeah, I think the idea was we each get a different mustache. Because there's so many mustaches, right? That was the idea. That was one. And then another one was my son was really into Wall-E. And I love Wall-E from the Disney. And so I was going to get a tiny little Wall-E on my wrist, on the inside of my wrist. Or have you ever seen negative space tattoos?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
I wanted little owl because he was really into owls when he was little. And they had so many on Pinterest.
Yeah.
I think I even have a tattoo board on my Pinterest.
Oh, my sister
you may have to
started
put a
one
link
with
for that.
me, and they're not getting tattoos. And I was like, but they're like, we like it. It's fun to look at. So I'm like, okay, I'm putting actual tattoos. I'd get on there.
I mean, how many of us are just making some sort of like sticker book, digital sticker book in that sense, right? That's basically what we're doing. Okay. So that was a cool thing. And then somewhere between this one and the next one, my sisters and I had talked about getting, there's a wine company called Three Sisters, and they have these little stick figure people that represent whatever the wine is.
Oh, yeah.
If it's a red wine, it's more moody or something than like a Pinot or whatever. And so we're like, oh my God, let's get these, and we'll get them to like match who we are and how we are, and we'll get all three of them on our legs together, you know, so they'll be on the back of our legs or whatever, and we'll have them. And so then we started bickering about which one was who and who was what, and then it turned into like this we just ended up like dropping off the bus, like it's done,
Yeah.
forget it. But I always thought that one was really cute. And then there was this book when my daughter was born. So this is like 36. And there's this book where it's, again, more line drawings of a cup of cocoa. And inside the cocoa cup is these little smiling marshmallows. And I thought, oh, wouldn't it be cute to get a cup of cocoa with two little marshmallows in it, you know, representing them. And then the cup has like a smiley face and hearts and all that stuff for being the mom, you know. And so that crossed my mind. And then from the same book, there's a butterfly that I think is really cute, and I always say the butterfly part to Riley, so that's like her thing. And so I thought, okay, I'll have a tattoo for each of them. One of the other ones that came across to me at, like, I wrote down at 39 is a mermaid. Here we go. We're going a completely different direction now, right?
Yep, just coming out of nowhere from Winnie the Pooh, mermaid.
Yeah. So now this is a very specific mermaid. Don't ask me why, but it was a mermaid who was probably just going to be one color. And she's swimming down, like she's going down to the bottom of the ocean, and she's holding a giant pearl in front of her. I'm like, why? Why is that so
pretty.
important to me? I don't know. The last one, there's two more, sorry. So now we're up to 40, right? 40 years old. So the closest there, so the next one is a charm bracelet. I thought, okay, if I can't pick one tattoo to represent whatever, I will just get like an anklet
of all the tattoos.
Yeah, mini tattoos, right? So then I get a little bit of everything, and it's cohesive. Yeah. So that was a really good one that I actually am still considering, but we'll see.
Because you could cover up if you're like, oh, I don't like the mermaid anymore.
Yeah.
You can cover it up with witch from the winery or whatever.
Right.
You know.
And then also, I never wear ankle bracelets, even though I think they're so cute, because I break them. I just
Oh, I know. Who wears these?
I don't know.
Dainty people?
I don't know. Whoever wears them, good luck to you.
Could you get at your ankle? Because that's getting farther than me. I got big bones. And ankle bracelets are a joke. Ankle bracelets are what I can put on my wrist, my hand wrist.
I always break them because I forget they're there, and I try to take my socks off with my big toe, and then just crack. I've gone through several, and I'm like, forget it.
Oh my gosh. Yep.
So the most recent one was literally pinned probably like 2 weeks ago, and it's a line drawing, cute little scrolly thing of a bumblebee.
Oh, my daughter had bumblebee on her list, even though she's afraid of bugs.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. But she likes bumblebees. So
one of the things I want to roll into before we talk about yours, because I think yours is very beautiful, and I know your stories are great with it, but I looked on the internet because as we were talking about, okay, all these tattoos, I followed a lady on Instagram called @SpiritFluent. So it's Spirit Fluent if you want to check out her stuff. But she talks about what the spiritual meanings are of each placement. And she also has a book coming out, and she also has, if you have birthmarks, she talks about what birthmarks mean for each of you, or how different they are and what they could mean. So I just find it really...
Oh, birthmarks. I thought you said bookmarks, and I was like, not following. Okay, I'm there.
Segue,
I'm
right?
back. So she talks about where you put a tattoo on your body has a symbolism to it.
Yeah. And so I thought to go through all that and all those choices that I made would be a great another episode. So if you guys decide that that's what you want, you're interested in that, feel free to like drop a comment on our Spotify or Apple, and or send us an Instagram message, and we would be happy to see if we can get her involved, or just do some research on that, because that could be a whole episode in itself, because I just find it so interesting, the correlations between that. And because I have the time frames on there, I thought, oh, wouldn't that be interesting to look back and see, okay, if I got this during this age, was I going through whatever it is that correlates to that placement, right? So I think that could be really cool. But if you look throughout the internet will either say they mean absolutely nothing, they're just a tattoo, or super spiritual meaning, and But one of the things that I found while I was looking on Google, and I got Google AI came up right away and said this, and it said, Some placements are commonly associated with certain interpretations, often based on visibility, pain tolerance, and the body's parts' perceived connection to specific aspects of their life or personality. So it could be like if you got this tattoo and someone passed away, well, then this means this happened during this time period, or this was my rebel age, so I got this cool thing, or whatever. But then they also talked about how certain tattoos can basically represent how badass someone is. And so it was like, if you have a little tiny tattoo like behind your ear, it could mean something like you're trying to keep things secret, or you want to keep your experiences private. But if you have something like you where your arm, you have a full sleeve almost, then it says that arm tattoos can vary greatly in meaning depending on their size and location. Small tattoos on the upper right arm might suggest a cautious but adventurous personality, while full sleeves can represent a bold, expressive individual. And I was like,
Heck yeah.
that checks out. That checks out.
About full legs. Are legs bold individuals?
I'm guessing
full...
so, because what it said is the bigger that tattoo, the more bold someone is. Because think of the time you spend in the chair, the money you're spending on it. That's a really big decision to sit there and get your whole back tattooed. It just kind of talked about that. And then one thing that I never considered is some placements of tattoos are based on what you're asking for. Depending on how detailed it is, if you get a tiger's face and you want it to look realistic, you can't put it on your wrist.
Yeah.
They can't get in there and make it realistic. So they're like, okay, give me your thigh. And they'll put it in a much bigger area. Besides it can tolerate more pain and more pokes from the needle. So even if you want something in a certain place, that doesn't mean you actually can get it there. So I never considered that either.
What I was noticing is you talked about your tattoo journey considerations. Your tattoos are all tied to memories or experiences or people, which is one of the popular things. Like I have a friend who's got like 32 tattoos. None of them have anything to do with the other tattoo, and there's no cohesion. It's just splat, 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 because each tattoo is an experience or memory that they had about something. And it's not even like they're like, I just did my arms. They're just there all over their body because it's wherever, like you were saying, the person was like, sounds like fun, let's do it there. And so theirs is very situational, which sounds like yours, which a lot of people do that. Like think of those biker dudes. They're not planning a whole side piece. When you watch tattoo artists these days, there is an emerging number of people who do tattoos differently. But the old school way is like yours, where you're like, memory unlocked or moment or something that's important, and I want to see it on my body to remember X. Like for you, like the cute little Cocos, you're like, that's my kids. So her little happy place and it's a memory.
And when we were growing up, I never saw anybody with more than just like a
big arm tattoo
or like something just on their arm. It was never like a full sleeve like it is now. It was not as popular. It was like
it's become more accepted.
Yeah.
And I think people can find artists that can do what they like. Because there's so many different artist styles. Like my husband does not have any tattoos, but he's been following artists. He's like, oh, check out this one. Look at this one. And I think that looks really cool for you. But I can't go to that tattoo artist because they're not going to do what I
your
do.
style.
Yeah, my vibe and stuff. So growing up, nobody had tattoos. Maybe an uncle had one on his arm, but I can't even remember. But I do remember in high school, one girl did get that big blue butterfly on her boob. Boop. But I was dating this guy, and one day I saw him after school. He's like, I did something, and I got to tell you, but I'm so afraid that you're going to be mad. And he was just being real cagey. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? And then he pulls on the back of his underwear a little, and he has tattooed on his butt my name with a heart. And I'm like, what? I was like, why would I be mad about that? He's like, because I got a tattoo of your name. I'm like, but it's not my butt. It's your butt. What the hell are you doing?
Oh my
Turns
God.
out he didn't really tattoo his butt, but he did show his behind to one of his wrestling buddies who drew it on for him. So I'm like, that's even grosser. You didn't go to like a professional who tattooed your butt. You had one of your bros put this hand on your fleshy bottom and just draw a heart with my name. It was so weird.
So my question is, could you tell that it was like a Sharpie, or was this
No, because he
person
wouldn't really show me. He just would pull down,
Oh,
you
did he
just see a
glance?
little, be like, oh yeah, I'm
That's
so embarrassed. And I'm like, I was not annoyed if you had gotten a real tattoo. I didn't really think he would have. But I learned that he just had one of his buddies drawing on his butt. Like, whatever.
Whatever. Oh my god.
But
Funny.
so then later I tried that on my mother because she's like, I don't know about tattoos. She's not really upset about it. She's like, why do you do that? Why do people do that? She doesn't get it. And
Yeah.
so I drew mom on my arm with a heart and just started hanging out. This was in college, hanging around the house. The woman did not notice, Cary. It was so pointless. She didn't even notice to be like, what the hell did you do to your arm? What is this? Or is that fake? Nothing. I'm like, oh my gosh.
I have a quick question for you though.
Yeah.
I have heard people who, because again, everyone in my family but me and my niece, and my kids obviously because they're young, like all have tattoos. Yeah. Okay, so
do they have story tattoos or do they have art tattoos?
That's both.
Okay.
Both. Okay, so my question though for you is, do you get irritated or annoyed when someone says, like, points to your tattoo and goes, "What's that mean?" Because I've heard people be like, "Oh my god, sometimes it just doesn't mean anything," and so
well, then you just tell them that.
Yeah.
People tell me, and I'm like, sometimes it depends on who I'm talking to. I'm like, sometimes it's hard to explain, but most of the time, my tattoo just has meaning for me, and it's just part of a big art piece. I don't understand why people get bothered by that because it's a legit question and it's not offensive or anything. And you don't have to, like, some of my explanations might be long and drawn out. I'm like, well, they don't want to hear that. I can say these strawberries are because it's my favorite fruit, and my Scottish family's last name means strawberry in French, which the French people came and made the Scotland people or whatever. So it's a family connection. That's the simple one. Then you don't have to get into the big emotional ones like,
okay,
this is about this. And
yeah. So before we go forward, if someone's not looking at our Instagram or is not there yet, can you explain to them the basic layout of your tattoo arm? Because you have a sleeve. It's considered a sleeve, right? Because it goes from your shoulder down to your wrist. So it's full sleeve.
Yep, it was a half sleeve, and now it's turning into a full. It's a work in progress. It's not completed, but it's basically birds and florals.
You have a theme, so that's cool.
Yep, and there's one bird holding a needle and thread. I had to work on my tattoo artist to be okay with this because I wanted her to spell my grandma's names with the thread because they're the ones that inspired me in my sewing. But she's really high end, so she's like, no, word tattoos don't look good. So she's like, I'm not doing that. But I got her to do their first initial. So you can't really tell when you look at it, but if I explain it to you, you can see there's a B and an M for Bonnie and Mabel.
Honestly, like when you told me that many years ago, I couldn't tell either. It just looks like a piece of string. So I think that's really cool. Okay, so continue.
So the birds have different meanings and stuff. It's basically a big ass floral. So each one has meanings for me, but they all go together. So it looks like just one art piece. And my boss asked me the other day, he's like, why did you get tattoos? Because people do it for different reasons, and like, what is your purpose for having them? And I said, yeah, it's an art piece. It's like part of my outfit, my wardrobe. So like when you were saying, yeah, you got to consider what you're wearing. That's totally true. Earlier this week, I wore a floral shirt, and I was like, oh, lots of clash, lots of flowers happening. I did it anyway because I do what I want, but you got to think about that. But that's why I have it, because it's like a shortcut for having a cool outfit. If you don't really want to put a lot of work in, you still got this colorful arm, and it's already styled. You don't have to wash it. You don't have to style it. You don't have to put makeup on it. It's done. It's ready to go.
So how many sessions have you sat through to have the sleeve that you do?
So far, 2.5 days, 2.5 sessions. So 2 full day sessions and 1 partial. And then my
and a
tattoo
full day is 6 hours or 8?
like
Up to
8,
6?
7
Yeah,
or
okay.
more. And my artist, whose name is English Cousins, and she's out of Nashville. She's hella good. She says probably 2 more full days to get this done. So another full day to color in, because my top sleeve is just a black work right now of birds and flowers and strawberries. So she's got to color it in, and then some other mystery part to kind of connect them. And I don't know what that is yet, but that's the fun. I love just dreaming of ideas and something hits me and then I do it. And it goes with it.
I like that you have a theme. I think that's really important, especially with a full sleeve.
I could add, well, I probably couldn't add Winnie the Pooh or hot cocoa cup. But there are things where I was like, if there was something that I wanted, because my husband is not on my arm, my kids are. Because he made a joke when I first got my first tattoo. He was like, okay, whatever. I don't know why you're doing this, but I don't care. And he said something once, maybe I misunderstood him, but I thought he was like, don't get a tattoo symbolic of me. Now he would tell you, no, I never said that. I'm like, I remember you saying that because I was like, that's weird. Well, whatever. I don't care. Fine, I won't. And I joked with him once. I was like, you know what I'm going to do because you said that? I'm going to put a big old peacock on my arm and say, that's my husband. He's a peacock. He struts around like he's hot shit. Because he really doesn't. But that would annoy him.
Yeah.
He doesn't care anymore. But he isn't on here. And he might never be, which is fine. But I did it because when I was talking about tattoos, Cary, placement is huge. Huge. And my first tattoo is just one bird. It's called a polka dot sparrow because I had a blog and it was called polka dot sparrow. So I was like, I will get a sparrow because sparrows are boring looking. You know, they're basic. Even the dude sparrows, not cool looking. They're just average. But this one has polka dots, which somebody once said, was this a diseased bird? Because he looks a little diseased because of his polka dots. I was like, no, he's polka dot sparrow.
He's eccentric.
Anyway,
How rude.
yeah, he's got his own personality. So English actually didn't do this guy. This was some other person. But when I was getting this with my girlfriends, we were having a trip together and one of them was like, let's all get bird tattoos. And we're like, yeah. I was like, where am I going to put this? And I thought about, I like the shoulder idea, Cary, but I want to see this. I'm paying all this money and doing this pretty thing for me, not for the world to see. So I want to see it. So that's why I have a whole arm because I like seeing it. I like in the winter when I'm so depressed because there's no sunshine to see this colorful arm. Plants, birds, happiness. So that's why I did it there.
Cool.
But yeah, it's expensive. I think by the time I'm done, it will have cost the same amount as a nice used car. Tattoos are not cheap, but they're beautiful and they're forever for me.
Forever. Now, so before we go on to talk about more about your arm tattoo, I don't think we brought this up when we were talking all this week. Did you know, I don't have the website, but if anyone's interested, I'm happy to find it, that I just watched some reel or story on Instagram that was like this new way to preserve your tattoos after you die. So you're able to say, let's say want your polka dot sparrow. Say you're like, you know what, I want this to live. I want my family to have it because it's an art piece. Okay, this is how they spun it too. You can sign away and pay, and they will take your body, take the skin off.
They will take your. Okay,
Yeah.
keep going.
They'll
This is feeling a little
preserve it.
Silence of the Lambs. Okay.
It is, but it's artistic. You know, because in this whole thing, they talk about how much money is spent on it.
Yeah.
What those tattoos mean to people, and how it's a piece of that person that is a piece of artwork that is preserved forever. If you do
So
this
what are they
process.
doing with this bodysuit from Silence of the Lambs tattoos?
I'm sure it's got something to do with like embalming or something. Like, you know, they do a certain process. I don't know if they dehydrate it like jerky.
Is your skin flap going to be hanging on the wall?
Oh, skin flap. I didn't say that.
See?
No,
Sorry.
They museum frame it. Like they put it with, like I've seen it. I should have sent it to you. I'm gonna have to find it. I'm gonna make a note, and we're gonna circle back to this and put it in the notes of this episode because
That sounds so creepy.
literally it cannot be forgotten. It is definitely a thing that has to be preserved.
Nope.
remember later.
If you take a picture, it'll last longer. That's what you can do with the tattoos. That's it. You don't need to hang
And it's a little less creepy.
Granny's
And then you think about it,
dehydrated
you know,
arm on the wall.
So okay, I don't want to go into that like any further, but are you gonna be haunting those people in that piece of your skin that still exists when they have it?
I know.
Is that how you're
it's
segue
little-
back? You're like, oh no, one of my skin's on that wall. I get to stay here.
Yeah, it's my little portal into that little part of the world.
Yeah, right.
That is totally bizarre.
Yeah.
We don't need to do that for me, just so you know.
I have a couple questions for you really quick. The first one has to do with the story there. So is the story with the polka dot sparrow, is that your first tattoo?
Yes.
Okay, and were you bullied? Sorry, pressured? I mean, were you by your
Encouraged.
friends? Encouraged, that's the word. Encouraged by your friends to do it, or were they just kind of like, we're doing this, jump in?
Yeah, that's how they are. It's my high school girlfriends. We're doing this jump in. So in the end, 3 of us got tattoos and one didn't because she's like, I don't do tattoos. But she
Yeah, which
came
is
with
cool.
us and partied with us.
Do you have tattoos on your mind any time before that, aside from the time you made that tattoo, DIY tattoo for your mother, which I think is
Yeah,
still hilarious still?
I know, very enduring. I've always thought they were interesting, but like you, I haven't honed in on something that I'd want forever. So it was a cool practice because we were taking a trip together to Nashville and my girlfriend's like, let's do tattoos. I was like, cool. I had like a year to think about it, what I wanted to do, if I wanted to do it. And it didn't even start out as bird tattoos. At first, it was just tattoos, and somehow we all got on birds. So, no, I liked the exercise of mulling it over and thinking, do I want a tattoo? Where would I put it? And in the end, I thought that was just going to be my one tattoo, Cary. They do say once you start, you don't stop. But I'm stopping. And like my friend Maggie has stopped. She's like, she did both of her arms. She's like, that's my goal. I did it. I'm done. Like, right. Some people will keep going. That's fine. So I did the one bird and I would have been happy with that. But the reason that people don't stop is because one bird lonely on your arm looks kind of naked and weird. It's just like one
Like an empty
bird.
canvas, right? Because now you're
Yes.
filling up the canvas instead of it just being like a painted wall. You're
Yeah. And it wasn't, yeah. So I was like, well, I'm going to add to this. And so then I decided, I thought I was just going to do half sleeve and then had more ideas. I'm like, I like tattoos. I'm just going to do a whole sleeve. So I'm not going to do the other arm. I like being like a one-arm bandit or, whatever. I always thought, wasn't there a movie, and it's not the Marvel movies. It's like, I thought there was a movie that Tommy Lee Jones was in where he only had one arm or something, or he had a golden arm. I don't know. I have to look this up. So I'm like Tommy Lee Jones from that sad movie from the 80s. It probably doesn't exist. But he's a one-armed man and he's running from somebody. I don't know.
oh my gosh.
So I'm like, this is my power arm. Or he had a golden arm. I don't know. Anyways, this is my magic arm. But I just kind of grew from there. And that's that. This big kingfisher on my upper arm is symbolic of the time I wrote and published a book for my kids, because the kingfisher is one of the key characters in the book. So for me, it symbolizes doing something that's big and hard and getting it done. It was for my kids. It's not like some work of art, but it's a really cool finished piece. And whenever I see him, I think you can do hard things. You can finish things and they don't have to be perfect, but the journey of doing it is worth it.
So I just have an idea. This whole podcast thing has been quite the slog as well. And I say that in a very loving way. We've talked about this before. You have a career. I've got a lot of family duty, traveling husband. We have worked so hard to prioritize this podcast whenever we can. And we've been working on this for like 2 years, right? On and off. So
Probably.
my question is, since this is another big project, are you going to get a finch on your arm?
I hadn't thought about that because he stands for the big project. He stands for every big project.
Oh, okay,
You can
whatever.
do it. You can do all the big projects.
You want
But
a
you know what?
tattoo of a
I've
finch
got
on
some
your
empty
arm?
space. We'll see. One day it might appear. We don't, because what am I going to put in this empty space? Birds and flowers.
You
So,
should put the
just
finch
gotta
on the back
see.
to represent me and be like, I'm watching.
Then
your
I
back.
can't see it. Oh, I see. I have to be able to
But I'll
see
be
it.
watching your back, so you don't have to.
That's too funny.
Anyway, sorry. Okay.
So,
The next tattoo that you're getting is not a new tattoo. It's just the coloring of your giant kingfisher and the flowers.
and deciding what color. I might
Okay.
do
Which is going to be a whole
rainbow,
process, which will
pink
be
and
really,
purple.
really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So then, I guess in the end, we have to circle back to what the moment was that changed you. But I have a little kicker here of a question.
Sure.
This might be a whole nother episode. We might go over on this one and have to make tattoos 2 parts because this is the ultimate question. Okay.
Yes.
How does your Enneagram 5 let you decide on a tattoo?
Oh, yeah, that is a big question. Well, it likes to research and think. So I'm a slow roller. My first tattoo was age 35, everyone. 35. I wasn't 18. I wasn't 25. 35 years old. And Enneagram 5 has that 4 wing. So Enneagram 5, guys, is a person who's very analytical. It's a personality description, who likes to think things through, often is very slow to act because they like to research, but then they don't do anything because they're like, there's still more to learn. And I like learning about crap, but also there's an artistic, creative side to it, to the Enneagram 5, which I have a lot of. And so I just enjoy thinking about things, ruminating on things, and knowing that you don't have to do the tattoo all at once. So I enjoy the creative journey of just imagining different things. And then once I decide, which is a component of my personality, because some people maybe are undecided about things or immediately can make decisions. I'm slow, but once I make a decision, it's locked in. Boop, I'm doing it. Or I'm not doing it.
And I think you're a healthy 5, and that shows you're a healthy 5 because you don't let the analytical part drown you. You're not thinking about it forever.
Yeah.
And now that we've talked about this, it made me understand. So I'm an Enneagram 2, which you're better. You're more established in Enneagrams and talking about them. So how would you describe very quickly an Enneagram 2?
They're the people who really like connecting with others and feeling like their key to survival is based on other people needing them in their worlds. So it's like a survival instinct, like, the big bad wolves are coming. Am I surrounded by people who have my back? And you guys help yourselves get in those positions by being helpful to people and connecting with people so that they're like, oh my gosh, the wolf's coming and we got to protect Cary. She's in our pod. And I would be out on a hill thinking my own thoughts, being like, screw you guys, I don't care. I do what I want. The wolf might eat me alive, though, because I didn't think that through. But you're alive because survival instinct taught you need to be with people and you need to really connect with people for survival.
It's the martyr, because we will literally throw ourselves in front of the bus in order to save all the children on the bus. That's kind of how it works. But again, healthy versus unhealthy, that's going to be a whole nother episode, people. I think that's why I also haven't really picked a tattoo. Because think about it. I have so many people in my life that I really love, that I like to connect with. And if you look at it from the 2 perspective, say I got a tattoo for you, April. Well, how would that make Julie feel? How would that make my sister feel? On and on and on. I also think that's why having the Enneagram 2 also not interferes, but is part of the decision.
Can trip you up.
Yeah, and also like each tattoo to me has to mean something. Like it has to be so specific and thought out to represent the full connection to somebody. And how do you do that?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think the trinket bracelet or the charm bracelet is probably going to be the one that I end up with, because then I can show a collection of relationships, right?
Yeah, and if someone kind of falls out of the little carousel, you're like, well, I knew them years ago, but not anymore. You've had your time with them, and now you can put something on for your sister or whatever. So
yeah,
you can change it out like a real charm bracelet.
Oh yeah, it doesn't sound expensive at all. So what was the moment that changed you then into getting one?
Yeah, well, nothing changed me into getting one, but getting the tattoos themselves caused some change in me. My first tattoo made me come face to face with this decision of whether I do something that I know might hurt somebody that I care about and respect. Because normally I do what I want, and that's how I feel everybody should live their lives. You do what you want, as long as it's not hurting people, right? And I've always had that kind of viewpoint. So I decided to get this tattoo, and I'm doing it. And I don't care if other people are like, oh, tattoos are dumb, or why are you doing that? I don't care about that. But someone in my husband's family, it's my mother-in-law, who I really love and respect. Tattoos literally are damaging your skin. You're killing off your skin to put colors in it, right? And so she was like, why would you take this like razor blade knife thing to your body and damage your body so intensely and permanently? And she never told me not to get it or anything, but I knew that it was an upsetting idea to her, because she was just like, why would anybody do this? You could go ride a roller coaster if you think your mother-in-law might not be comfortable with that or be afraid for you. And you do it one time and it's done. But a tattoo is something she's going to see every time she sees me for the rest of her life. So I'm like, ugh, is it worth doing this thing that just in her heart just makes her kind of bummed out, and not like angry or anything, but just kind of like, so I had to come face to face with that because I've never encountered that before in my life. Like if anyone didn't like what I did, they were kind of dicks about it. So I'm like, whatever, I do what I want. But this person is just a very kind person and who I care about. And I was like, am I like upsetting her?
Yeah.
Not disappointing, because she wasn't disappointed. It was just like upsetting her. Like you hurt yourself. You've hurt yourself.
Okay. Yeah. Like if you were to not wear sunscreen and get burned, it's like the similar choice of like.
And she is
you could have
very
prevented
much.
This.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is a big one for her because she was a cancer nurse, and she's like, you know how many people I've walked through this skin cancer, and you fools are going around without stuff on. Can you please put stuff on? I didn't grow up wearing it a lot. I do for her because it makes her feel more comfortable.
Out of respect and honoring yourself and her. Yeah, that's cool.
Also, you need to heavily sunscreen your tattoos if you want the color to stay. So I also do that. The irony that I put sunscreen on the tattoo, that she's kind of like, what? But I had to come face to face with that and decide I'm still doing this thing that I know will upset someone I care about. But I'll be respectful. I'm not throwing it in her face. I'm not talking about it. I'm not like, look at me. But you know what my husband did when I got my tattoo? He was eating dinner with his mother when I sent him the picture. He immediately is like, Mom, look at this. Look at April's tattoo. and I was like, JB, why did you do that? I'm texting him. I'm like, why did you show your mother? This is not a cool event for her. Like, we don't need to push it in her face. And I was like, what did she say? He's like, she cried. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
Oh,
I'm glad I wasn't there for that.
Was he actually being sarcastic though?
No, she literally cried because it was just like, she was like, she just hurt herself. She's a very sweet person. I keep getting tattoos. I just don't be like, hey, Marianne, text her, check out this cool picture of my tattoo. She doesn't need to see that. So it was just a very interesting kind of moment, like a point in the road where, what do you do? Have you ever encountered that, Cary, where a choice you make might genuinely hurt somebody that you care about, but you know that the choice that you're making is good for you? And you, as an Enneagram 2 who likes to please people, have you ever encountered that, and did that affect your choices?
I feel like these are more episodes because we're going to be talking about this in the hair episode. Although it played out differently, this person had told me their feelings before I
made a decision.
The situation
but was their decision was their feelings like, I find this upsetting, or was it just like, I disagree with what you're doing? There's slight nuances there.
Disagree, but it also could have been out of fear. So I'm not really sure if it's exactly. I mean, let's be honest. I've done a million things that people probably aren't going to agree with me about. I have a history of, because I am a 2, thinking of the fear of how someone's going to react all the time. Because 2s are notorious for, oh, well, I won't do this unless everyone's happy. Well,
like, you don't want to break the relationship. You don't want to risk the relationship.
No one's going to be happy. Or you're so
everyone's going to be happy but you.
Right. Yeah. And so I hear you when it comes to like living authentically, because in the end, you're the person that's going to regret it. Like, so I have done things that people haven't agreed with, and I feel like probably upset and or disappointed them. But in the grand scheme of things, it's not like I'm doing heroin, or it's not like it's just like, I'm sorry you feel uncomfortable with this choice, but it's not like I'm doing anything crazy here. And I had to come to terms with that of, not everyone's going to agree, but that's what makes the world so beautiful. You are never going to agree with everything I say, but that's why I love you. Like, that's one of the reasons why we work so well together, because I can appreciate.
We're allowed to have different opinions.
Differences. Yeah. And we're allowed to. I can understand how you feel in that scenario, especially with what she's been through, and, trying to do what's best for yourself, but also not make someone else uncomfortable. She cried. It upset her. Too. I'd be like, crying with her. And I went right to disappointment when you were talking about her. But that's not what it was. It was upset. I can relate to what you're saying, but I'll have to think about if I openly.
Yeah, you just think about that. Or if you ever didn't make a choice because of something and you had regrets later, or you're like, you know what? I'm glad I didn't do that thing because I knew what it would do to that person, and it was fine that I didn't do it,
Yeah, that'll have to be a whole episode called Living Authentically,
because I think that it's a really big road, a long road to authenticity, depending on your Enneagram slash who you start out
Personality.
to be. Yeah.
And I know that can be hard for a lot of people to do. This is another thing that I have wondered since getting a tattoo, but I've pondered this over and over. I don't have an answer. I usually do what I want. I'm respectful of people, but I do what I want, which is how I feel everyone should live because it's authentic and it's how you find your joy. I don't care what people think of me. I don't care if I dyed my hair purple, what people think. I don't care what people think. I thought, okay, getting a tattoo, I don't usually do crazy things like you. You're like, I too, Cary, have not ever done heroin. Okay. So the most wild I've gotten is I don't even speeding. I do have a problem with speeding tickets, but nothing crazy. So when I got my tattoos, I'm like, oh, this is the thing. People will say stuff to me about tattoos because people have a lot of feelings about it and people don't mind running their mouth about it. Nobody has said anything negative to me about my tattoos. I don't know if it's more prevalent now, they're more accepted. But I do have conservative circles that I run in, including my workplace. But nobody has outright ever said anything to me. And I'm wondering, is it because people don't care? But people do care about tattoos. There are still people who care. Two, am I just intimidating? And they're like, oh, I'm not going to say anything to her about anything. Have people never told me the crap they don't like about me because I'm intimidating or I seem overly confident? They're like, that's a waste of time. Or is it because I live in West Michigan, which for the listener, West Michigan has this thing called West Michigan Nice. Nobody tells it how it is around here. It's like, it's that upsets me if you want to know. So everyone's nice. No one says the negative things because they're like, we are kind and we're polite. I'm like, that's a great way to live your life, but you've got to be able to call people on their crap. Or, be real with people if something is not cool. So I don't know if it's because of who I am as a person. And so is that why I don't understand other people who are like, oh, a kid's like, oh, I don't want to wear that to school because somebody said something to me. I'm like, what? Why the hell do you care? Has anyone ever said anything to me about what I'm wearing, though? Do I even know what the hell that feels like? I have one recollection in middle school of someone picking on me for something that I didn't understand at first. But then I was like, okay, they're stupid. Why were they being assholes to me? So I don't know if I really understand what it's like to be someone who has met with somebody dissing them or calling them on stuff or anything like that. Something that I've been wondering about since getting a tattoo, since all I ever get is positive feedback. The other day, someone at work paused me in the middle of a very busy meeting to be like, hey, I just want to tell you, I love your tattoos. I've admired them and they're amazing. And I was like, you are not a person I thought would be giving me that compliment. And also, we're in the middle of a big project right now. That was kind of a strange time to do it. But he was just like, I've been meaning to tell you, and we're always busy. So that's something I've been wondering about myself. Do I even know what it's like to be picked on or be felt different or anything like that just because of what my personality is like?
That's going to have to be a whole... We're uncovering a lot of new episodes in this recording today because looking at the opposite, I can tell you a million times that I've been picked on. Mm-hmm. So is that because of my personality? I don't know. Or is it just situational, right? So,
yeah, or maybe do you remember them because it did bother you? And I don't remember all the jabs people sent my way because it went over my head and I'm like, I don't know what the hell you're doing. You got to look me in the eye and say you don't like something. And even then I'm like, okay, yeah, why is that? Maybe we've had the same experiences, but your memory clings to those because you're like, that, I did not like that at all. And I had a different view on it. Like, whatever, idiots.
I think it's definitely a different episode because I could go on and on about this one, like reviewing all the different ideals I have of how and why and cross-referencing them. So one thing I wanted to say is what would it be like if I actually had all those tattoos that I had like dreamed of?
What would you look like? You'd be like peppered everywhere.
Yeah, and would I have more than that? Probably, right? I feel like it would be like if someone just stamped my body all over in these random places. If we come back to this and the listeners decide that this is a fun episode and they want to hear more, I definitely would love to revisit the meanings and see how they correlate in my life because I feel it would tell a lot of what I was going through. But I
Yeah.
can tell you right now, I don't think I would be happy right now if I had chosen all of those. Like, especially, I think the one I would regret the most is the Winnie the Pooh.
Oh my gosh. But that one would be the best one. So ironic. So
I
just
know.
funny and yeah,
And
the
almost all the
witches on each
tattoos I wouldn't
shoulder.
see anyways because they were all on my back. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, well this episode, like always, goes in directions we didn't even expect. But I think we talked about some pretty cool stuff and kind of uncovered why people get tattoos.
Or why we don't. Mm-hmm. I appreciate the way this went. It gave me a lot to think about and decide if I'm going to get one. Fun note to end this episode on. Sometimes I see psychics and I think it's interesting and I feel like I learn a lot of things or I get called out on things that I never thought about out loud, but obviously are a thing to bring up from a psychic. On the last one I went to, which was like a year ago, she said, "What is this about a tattoo?" And I'm like, "What?" She goes, "You don't have any tattoos, do you?" And I said, "No." She goes, "Okay." And I was like, "Wait, what? Are you trying to say I'm going to get one?" And so then she like kind of went to the next thing, but I was like, was she alluding to that I was actually going to end up getting one?
Or did
So
she just see a tattoo and it's symbolic of somebody in your life?
I don't know. But
Interesting.
I'll have to go back and listen to the recording, but I know she brought it up and I was like, wait, how do you know? Wait, how do you know that? I've never said, I never talked about that. Like, that's not a point of contention for me. Like, what? Like, so we'll see. But it's just an interesting little dab onto the tattoo episode.
Very cool. All right. Well, until next time, we be chatting.
We be chatting, y'all. See you then. Bye. Thank you for listening to Finch and Sparrow Podcast. We hope that you enjoyed our stories related to our lessons or just laughed along with us. We sincerely thank you for spending your time with us today. A special thanks to our friend Caitlin Vinci for letting us use her song We Rise. You can check out her full song and other tracks at CaitlinVinciMusic.com. Follow along with us on our Instagram at Finch_N_Sparrow. There you can find out what we're up to, see what's inspiring us, and maybe what we're going to do next. See you next time.
Yes, you can be real and true, and it's all you